This is Close Encounters. Close Encounters. True stories, real people. Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms.
Yes, hello and welcome to Close Encounters with me, Anne Donaldson. And my guest today is Fairson Nyamunokora. Fairson, it is so good to have you here. And you're a graduate of forensic psychology.
Yep.
You're currently working in banking.
Correct.
You're married to Winter.
Yes.
And soon to be father.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Oh, it is so good to have you here.
No, thank you for having me as well, Anne.
So you were born in Zimbabwe?
Yes, so I was born in Zimbabwe in eastern town called Mutare, which is on the border with Mozambique.
Okay.
So that's where I pretty much predominantly grew up and was born in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Before I moved to England, that is in 2006.
Yeah. So your childhood, what was your childhood like, Fairson?
So I don't really recollect much of my childhood exactly, but the things that I remember is I was born in a Salvation Army church. We used to go to church every single Sunday.
Right.
My mom was the church treasurer. They used to call her co-treasurer, which she counted the money or kept the money, that kind of stuff.
Yes, yeah.
And I've always been told stories of how every Sunday I used to go to this other family's house, can't remember their name, and they always used to treat me like their child because I used to go there and eat and play with their kids on the other side. So that was me pretty much growing up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much more do you want to know about my...
So, happy memories.
Happy memories, I would say... my mom used to work in town in a place called Camera House. Mm-hmm. So I used to just like going in the store whenever I walked through the town and play with the cameras in there. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you remember those little films that I had to like look in the bright light to see the pictures.
Yeah.
So I used to like doing that. Another thing that I really enjoyed was just I say we had a good childhood where people went out on the streets.
Yes.
We played,
yes.
We have like street football with other kids from the next
Lovely.
road. So it was really nice in that essence. And I think I just enjoyed being around other family members.
Yes.
Like when I used to go and visit my grandmother.
Yeah.
That was nice. But yeah, that's some... Mind you, I grew up in Zimbabwe for the first 13 years of my life. That's why in terms of like many memories in Zimbabwe, there is not that much.
No. And you went to a boarding school there?
Yes.
So how did you find that?
So that was quite a pivotal time in my life, going to boarding school. Mm-hmm. Because at the age of 6, maybe 7, that's when my mom moved to UK.
Right.
So she left me and my brother in Zimbabwe with family.
Yeah.
And to manage the whole situation, my mom had to send us to boarding school so that we're also a burden on the other families.
Yeah.
So at boarding school, I said that's where I grew my character, because I knew I had to learn how to survive, be there for myself, and just manage life really, through the good and the bad. So I probably have more memories actually just being in boarding school, because that's when I really had to grow up. And I remember one time, the toughest day for me during that time in boarding school is when I had a toothache.
Okay.
I remember I was crying my eyes out, and I sat and said to myself, Fairson, you've got no mum here. Your mum is in UK. Your other family members, they're home.
Yeah.
There is maybe 100 other kids. You need to sort it out.
Yeah.
And that just made me tough from that toothache. And I just said, you know what, I need to stand strong, whatever happens. And that was pretty much it. And I was quite a mischievous child as well growing up. So you can imagine, it wasn't all, roses. It was no.
You were in trouble sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. Not all the times.
Dear. Yeah. So when you were there, did you have any role models in your life? Your mum had come to the UK.
It was tough being in, I can't say maybe not tough. It was, when you're in boarding school, you don't really have such as role models.
No.
I call the Zimbabwean boarding school the survival of the fittest.
Okay.
So it's not like boarding school that in England or
Yeah.
other,
Yeah.
first world countries.
Yeah.
No, it's literally survival of the fittest.
Okay.
So I almost became myself own role model.
Yeah.
In that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
But I guess if I look at when I went back home on holidays, because the holidays in Zimbabwe work slightly different. So this calendar year is January to December.
Yeah.
So every fourth month, that's when you go home for holidays. And within those holidays, I didn't always live with one family.
Okay.
So I was always changed. Sometimes I would change families several times.
Yeah.
And I suppose the families that I stayed with, I learned something. So I remember staying with one of my close relatives.
Mm-hmm.
They had a good house, mother, father, and the children are there.
Yeah.
That was stable. The husband was a university lecturer. The mom was a primary school teacher. She might have been head teacher.
Yeah.
So I'll say those were role models in terms of
Stability. Yes. Yeah.
That's probably the most stability that I saw. Apart from that, I would stay with my mom's sisters who were not as well off.
Yeah.
And I saw the rough side of life, or they call it the ghettos of life, and that was interesting. Then also there was also one of the first ladies we stayed with, which was like a church friend. Obviously, they kind of instilled that whole going to church every Sunday because they were also from Salvation Army,
right?
So we always went to church on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Whereas the other family, the one that I said had more stability, they went to a Methodist church, which was another different church, but they were not as strict on me going to church.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the sort of role models I kind of had.
Well, so what sort of you were exposed to church life? What sort of experience of God? At that point, can you remember whether he figured at all or not?
To be honest, at that young age, growing up in Zimbabwe, they say it's a Christian country, so going to church on a Sunday is just something that people just you just do. So I can't say I had any sort of recollection saying God is speaking, this is God, or just it's just a way of life.
Okay. So maybe at this point it'd be good to listen to your first choice of music. And you've chosen The Voice of Hope.
Oh yes.
Can you tell us why you would choose that?
It's one of the first songs that I heard Lara Martini when I first became a Christian or started taking my Christian journey serious. And when I said The Voice of Hope, it just reminded me of all the scriptures being said and all the positive things that the Bible talks about myself and who God is. And it's a song that, I've always liked.
Lovely, thank you.
Cross Rhythms.
You're listening to Close Encounters. I'm Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Fairson Nyamunokora. And we were talking before the last song about there came a point where you were taking your faith more seriously.
Correct.
What led to that, Fairson?
So just what happened is when I first came to UK in 2006. We carried on going to church. Mm-hmm. Me and my mom, in Salvation Army in a place called Romford.
Oh, yes.
In Essex.
Yeah.
Then I saw how my friends didn't go to church. Mm-hmm. They were home on Sundays. There might be a house party on a Saturday. Then I basically rebelled. I told my mom I didn't want to go to church anymore. Then it got to the point that my mom on Sundays, she would just go to church herself and she just left me home. Because I fully just rebelled and said I wasn't going. And I remember it was so when I joined the school in year 9, and I remember in year 10, there's a friend of mine called Seth who joined the school. He was coming from Ghana.
Okay.
And I remember Seth used to go to church, and I remember we used to walk from school, and Seth would be talking about God, saying bless you. Do you know what? I remember one day I turned around to Seth. I said, Seth, the way you talk about God, you make everyone know we even want to be a Christian. You're doing too much.
Yeah.
And Seth sort of kind of left me alone. I can't remember what happened, but years on,
Yeah.
I think it was my first year college. I was sitting at a bus stop. I can't remember what I was going through at the time, or I just can't remember.
Yeah.
But I remember at the bus stop, I was sitting with Seth. And I said, Seth, do you know what? I want to give my life to Christ.
Wow.
So the same guy that I told you talk too much about God is the same guy who saying, look, I need to give my life to Christ. I don't know what conversation we're having, but I know that's when I gave my life to Christ at the bus stop.
Wonderful.
Then following on from then, I started to go to churches. I went with Serve. I went with my other friends. Even though I wasn't going as regular, I was mainly going because those churches in Essex at the time, they were giving out rice and chicken at the end. So that was a motivation to be going to church.
Yeah.
But I remember going in those services, I'm like, if this is God, that's not the same God I'm reading in the Bible. There was just something about them that I just didn't think it was right. And it just didn't sit well with me. And I think those were the first times I started to understand God speaking to me.
Right.
But I still didn't actually follow in the faith. I was still pretty much living in the world, doing everything that I shouldn't be doing as a Christian. Fast forward, I now moved to Stoke-on-Trent in 2023.
Yeah.
So I used to smoke cannabis.
Yeah.
And on my very first day, I said to myself, I need to find where I can buy cannabis now that I've moved to Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah.
I thought a typical thing, I saw one black guy walking by the traffic light. I stopped him. I still remember his name. His name was Fizz. I said, excuse me, mate, do you know where I can buy cannabis from? And he just smiled at me. And he goes to me, oh, I've got something better for you. And I said, what do you mean you've got something better for me?
Yeah.
I was just intrigued.
Yeah.
He said, I've got Jesus. I just started laughing. I was like, oh, you're a funny guy. And then he goes, oh, we have a men's fellowship on the campus. You should come one day. For some reason, I just said, okay. We swapped numbers.
Yeah.
And I kid you, from that September, when I first joined, the first week of September, up until the following year, I believe it was in February, he kept messaging me every week. Are you coming to the men's fellowship? It was every Wednesday.
Yeah.
I kept saying, yeah. But because I was a smoker, I ended up smoking too much. I always have an excuse why I didn't go.
Yeah.
During that time, I also started this relationship with someone who I knew was a Christian. And I thought, oh, maybe I should become serious as well and become a Christian and present myself well. I remember going to the first Bible study with the man. I really enjoyed it. I carried on doing what I was doing. Then suddenly, as I carried on reading the Bible and actually now praying intensely, that's when I realized the way I was living shouldn't be the way I should live at that time.
Yeah.
So things that I was doing then just started to drop off naturally. Then I decided to take a step further. There was a church that I went to in Stoke, which most of the students used to go to.
Yeah.
That's why I got baptized.
Okay.
I decided to get baptized at that time. So that was now to say, look, I'm a Christian. This is how I'm going to live my life. And that was also a declaration to my friends to say, look, I'm going this way. And I remember one day I called all my friends in my room soon after my baptism. I said, guys, look, tonight we're going to have fun, which was the whole smoking and that what I used to do. And I said, after today, we won't be doing this again.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk a different path now. I'm still your friend, but, if you see me not coming to your rooms because you guys are smoking or doing this or sing or going to same places with you guys, it's not because I don't love you, just because this is the way that I want to live my life now. Yeah. They respected that. We carried on being friends. And
so that was 2013, 14, something like that?
So that's 2014 when I got baptized.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I found myself growing in the faith.
Yeah.
And your own, have there been difficulties in between? Yes, there's been challenging times. Yes.
Yeah.
But one thing that I learned at the time was that to be a good Christian, it all comes from your heart and how you conduct and live your life.
Yeah. So you made a very clear and conscious decision with your baptism that your life was now more in alignment with God's word and following after Jesus.
Correct.
Than following after the things of this world.
That's right.
That's beautiful, Fairson. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think that leads so nicely into the next song you've chosen, which is Lord, I Give You My Heart.
Oh yeah, love that song. Brilliant song.
Thank you. And my guest today is Fairson Nyamunokora.
Yes.
And we were hearing about how key your baptism was. You made some significant decisions that aligned with that baptism.
Yeah.
So you were still friends with people, but you weren't doing what they were doing.
That's correct. That's correct.
What other changes were happening, Fairson?
So in that time, I've always been someone who was known amongst my friends as a fighter. I had quite a quick temper, I would say. Suddenly, I remember just reading the Bible and understanding how Jesus was insulted. Things were said about him, rightly or wrongly, whichever way, but he never responded. And up to the cross, where he was being insulted, he didn't feel like he needed to argue his case, even though he was in the right standing. So I remember saying to myself, why am I being offended by people? And I remember at the time as well, I had a friend who had said previously, we're at a party, and I must have been flipping out and towards this guy, and it goes to me, why are you always fighting people?
Yeah.
And I said, this person was annoying me.
Yeah.
Then he said to me, how many people do you think are going to annoy you for the rest of your life?
Yes.
And that stayed with me, and I said, I'm always going to get annoyed by people. Doesn't mean I have to fight every single time. So yeah, I'll probably say my anger is something that I definitely seen that it just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Do I get annoyed sometimes? Yes.
Yeah.
But quickly now I remember who I am.
That's it.
And I'll say, just to say, another thing that changed at the time, which was significant, is a friend who I met called Gary.
Yeah.
Gary was pivotal in my life because I remember when I got introduced to Gary through other Christian people on campus, and I started going to church with Gary, the church that Gary was going. I remember Gary saying to me, I expect you to do everything I do plus more.
Yeah.
So Gary became a very good role model to me because I saw him. He was educated. He had things in his life in order for someone at that age. And he was someone who was active in the church. And I've always said, do you know what? If I'm going to benchmark myself as a Christian, that's the minimum.
Yeah.
And I have to do more. And he always encouraged me to do more. So this is how I found myself going to men's fellowship on campus. I ended up, me and a few friends, starting these fellowships together. And it was really, really like, I remember actually last week on Friday, we were on a call with some of the friends from university.
Yeah.
Because we decided to rekindle again. And someone asked the question, what was your favorite thing on campus? And it was interesting that all of us, we said it was the society that we had as Christians.
Yeah.
Like we really had a very good network of friends, and it felt like a belonging. We had an identity.
Yeah.
We knew who we were.
Yeah.
And we were not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I saw myself growing into, that passion for Christ.
Yeah.
That's what some of the things that changed.
He transforms us from the inside out, doesn't he?
Absolutely does.
And sometimes you have to stand back and just look and think, a year ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and you just see how God's transformed you over a period of time, probably in such a gentle way that you haven't been that aware that it's been happening.
Absolutely.
But other people see it.
Yes, absolutely. So my family, it's something that they mentioned, how, especially my mom.
Yeah.
She said, you know what? You need to keep going to church. So she forgot all this thing about all my life. She's always said, you need to go to Salvation Army. You need to go to Salvation Army. She stopped saying all of that. She just said, son, go to church. It's good that you go in there. Keep going there. And I believe when my mom came to visit me as well at my house in Stoke, she even wanted to see the pastor to say thank you, that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was
So others have been aware very much of the change in you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They have been aware.
Yeah. So what does it mean to be a Christian in today's society? You know, you went through university. You're now working in banking. What's it like being at that identity of I'm a follower of Jesus Christ, or I'm a Christian, or whatever we call it?
So me being a Christian means absolutely everything to me.
Yeah.
You know, I know you mentioned earlier that I'm married.
Yeah.
I'll be having a child in the introduction. But I'll say the decision of me being a Christian is definitely the biggest decision that I've ever made.
Yeah.
Because not only did it give me a sense, not even a sense, and knowing that I belong somewhere, it made me truly explore who I am.
Yeah.
Because I found myself in Christ.
Yeah.
I now know what I stand for.
Yeah.
And how I should conduct my life.
Yeah.
It's given me a direction, even during bad times. You know, I don't lean on my own understanding. I don't lean on the views of the world, but on what God actually reveals to me.
Yeah.
And every single time when I've had a need, God has always come through for me.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So that's what it means for me to be a Christian. You know, it's also about being about setting examples.
Yeah.
To other people, being a good role model.
Yeah.
And that's something that I thrive to do every single day.
Yeah.
You know, so that people may know that Christianity is not just something you say, but it is actually a lifestyle of how you live your life, and how you actually I'll say Christianity is a lifestyle of how you let God live within you.
Yeah.
So that He can glorify Himself. And that's what, you know, the biggest thing I try to thrive for, you know, whether above everything else, my career and everything else.
Yeah.
That is the most significant and most important thing that I want to live as a legacy.
So to remain rooted and to continue to grow. I know that you love reading the Bible.
Yes, I do.
I've been aware of that. And I know that you pray, you talk to God.
Correct.
And you listen to His response.
Correct.
So is that the best way to remain rooted?
I believe it is absolutely the best way to get rooted. You know, some things cannot be changed. Mm-hmm. You know, it just, as you're saying that, it just reminds me of, you know, in Joshua 1 verse 8, when it says, let this book of these words remain in your mouth, then you'll be successful in what you do. I just had to paraphrase that.
Yeah.
It's because when you meditate on those words every single day, it changes something within you.
Yeah.
And I've seen the times or the periods that I'm meditating on the word of God, I'm praying, I've realized that my life changes.
Yeah.
God speaks, I hear.
Yeah. The
times when I say, I'm a bit tired this morning, no. You know, it stops you being rooted. So I reckon, yes, you can't be a strong Christian without reading of the Bible and praying.
That's wonderful. So we're going to listen to your next choice of music, which is Here I Am to Worship.
Marvelous.
Welcome back to Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms with me, Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Fairson Nyamunokora.
Perfect.
Fairson, you settled in Stoke-on-Trent when you'd finished your degree, and you committed to a local church.
Correct, yes.
And part of your maturing was serving in a role of youth leader.
Correct. So, how that came about, there was just a need in the church for someone to sort of do youth work. So I kind of took on that role to be one of the youth leaders. So that meant when the kids went to like summer school, like summer camp, I'll go with them for that. And I remember one of the most challenging times as a youth leader for me was that I had to give up my Fridays evenings. I believe it was like 7 to 9. So we had the church building. The kids will come. So not only kids from the church, but kids from the community as well.
Yeah.
And just being there, trying to like facilitate the whole activities happening like that evening. You know, it was tough. Because that tested, if you remember earlier, I said I was short-tempered.
Yeah.
so now having teenagers, some young, you know, and it really tested me in my character.
Yeah.
How to deal with them, manage them, and I also had to give my time to be there.
Yes.
When some of my friends were out doing other things.
Yeah.
And that showed me what commitment was like.
Excellent.
Because I wasn't paid to be there.
No.
But I knew for the greater purpose as a Christian, I should be, you know, whether you want to volunteer, but I will serve in the house of the Lord in whatever way that was needed.
Yeah.
So that was definitely an important part. Then also for me staying in Stoke as well, it was also driven by the fact that I found a job around here. I tried to apply back in Essex. It wasn't working. But when I applied in my first job, that was in Crewe in the bank, I just got it.
Yeah.
And mind you, I had a forensic psychology degree.
Yeah.
But yet I'm now in banking.
Yes.
And I've seen myself. So I started in banking in 2019, and now 2025. So just going 6, nearly 7 years.
Yeah.
The way I have progressed in my career, it is not because I'm smart. Those who know me will know that I'm just a laid-back guy. You know, I am who I am. And it's interesting that my recent post right now that I've got, which I got a promotion last year in August, I remember one of the managers that I had in Manchester said to me, "I'm very surprised that you got it." You know, they had told me that why are you applying for these roles? You can never get it. For them to turn around and say, "I'm surprised why you got it."
Yeah.
In my head, I said, "I know you're surprised, but I'm not, because I know what God can do for me."
Exactly.
And God has opened doors for me.
Yeah.
And I've seen that where I have stayed rooted and planted, God has also been faithful.
Yeah.
In my life as well.
Absolutely. And having those friends who are praying for you and supporting you and encouraging you, it's all part of that maturing, isn't it?
Absolutely. So if you look at it, so when I first started in the bank, you know, with the church where I was going at, we had a home group. The ladies there, absolutely amazing. You know, they prayed for me pretty much probably every week or every day. You know, I was almost like a son in there. And that their prayers, you know, did a lot for me to be where I'm at now.
Yeah.
And that was really important, to have people that you can call and say, "Can you pray for this for me?"
Yeah. And I know that it was important to you that you married a girl who was born again, a follower of Jesus, a committed Christian, and you married Winter.
Yes, I remember when I first met her, she was Orthodox Christian.
Yeah.
Then I said to her point blank, "Look, we can never get married if you're not born again."
Yeah.
So I had to kind of like speak to her about what being born again is. And fast forward, Here we are.
Yes, she's a passionate follower of Jesus.
Absolutely.
We're going to listen to your next choice of music now, which is Ancient Words. Thank you. You're listening to Close Encounters with me, Anne Donaldson, and my guest today is Fairson Nyamunokora. And I know that God has been doing some tremendous stuff very recently in your life. Do you want to share a little bit with us?
Absolutely, yes. So the most significant thing that God has done so far to date, when I clearly had God speaking to me, was when we went to something that we call in our church called PVM, Prophetic Voice Ministries. I was encouraged to go, me and my wife. So we both had to take time off for the week, which was in Birmingham, so it wasn't too far for travel. So at PVM, the things that you learn, they are things that are meant to build you up as a person, as well as spiritually.
Yeah.
So within the sessions, there were long days, very long days, from 7 in the morning up until 10 in the evening.
Oh, wow.
So there was just various sessions during the day. So we spoke about health, how to be, literally how to be healthy. So we had doctors in there talk about health. We talk about people, how should you conduct yourself and things that you should do. So the whole PVM is centered around 21st century leadership. So it's to build other leaders. So you go pastors, you go pioneers of churches, all in there from various parts of the world. And literally, so when we're talking about 21st century leadership, it's about how can you be a leader within your own home?
Yeah. And
what does the Bible say about that?
Yeah.
And how do you take on from the things that you draw from the Bible into your workplace, into your friendship group?
Excellent.
How wide you wanna explore your tent? And I remember one thing that kind of stayed with me from the sessions that we had, was when one of the speakers they said, your ministry can never be bigger than your private time with God. That stayed with me. So, and even till today, I'm still pondering that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, what is my private time with God?
Yeah.
What does that look like? I can't expect to go out there and say, like Peter did at the beautiful gates, get up and walk.
Yeah.
For him to have that confidence to do such is because his private time was way stronger than what he was publicly ministering.
Yes.
And when I look at all the characters in the Bible, you want to talk from Abraham up until the New Testament, you will see that there were people who were dedicated in their prayer time with God. So I'll just reference one person, Moses. Moses had the tent where they would go and they would worship God. But you also hear that Moses had this tent of meeting with God himself, because he understood just being with people and fellowshipping with fellow believers, it's great. But what does that private time, what do you do with your time when you're away? Do you sit back, watch TV? Do you sit back, read your Bible? Do you sit back and make time to pray? That's something that stayed with me, and it's been a life-changing event for me.
Thank you for sharing that, Fairson, because I think we all need to hear this, and it's a lovely way to end what has been a wonderful interview. Thank you so much for being our guest today. It's been an absolute delight, and we're going to finish by listening to your final choice of music, You Are My Strength.
Lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Close Encounters on Cross Rhythms. True stories, real people.